This is orphaned pangolin baby. New.
Here are the top stories of the news. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai appears in court for alleged corruption trial. Aliko Dangote warns growing volatility in global oil markets could worsen economic hardship in Africa. On the foreign scene, 66 dead as Colombian military plane carrying 125 soldiers and crew members crashes and take off. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Aligbe. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai has arrived at the Federal High Court sitting in the state capital for his arraignment by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC). El-Rufai is expected to face charges related to alleged corruption and abuse of office. The ICPC had filed charges against the former governor, accusing him of financial misconduct during his time in office. Ahead of El-Rufai's arraignment, security presence in the Kaduna state capital and around the court has been significantly heightened, with armed personnel stationed at key entry points to forestall any breakdown of law and order. The supporters and observers gathered outside the premises. Proceedings are already underway, with the arraignment marking the first formal step in what could become a high-profile legal battle. The former governor is being arraigned by the ICPC alongside one Joel Adoga before the Federal High Court. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has convicted and sentenced the former acting accountant general of the Federation, Chukwuyere Nwabuoku, to a 72-year jail term without an option of fine. Delivering judgment, James Omotosho held that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) had been able to prove the 9-count money laundering charge beyond reasonable doubt. According to the judge, the defendant is hereby convicted as charged. Justice Omotosho convicted Nwabuoku in all 9 counts and sentenced him to 8 years imprisonment in each of the counts, making 72 years. The judge, however, orders that the counts shall run concurrently. Justice Omotosho, who described Nwabuoku's act of diverting funds meant for security and defense while he served as Director of Finance and Accounts in the Ministry of Defense, as appalling, commended the EFCC for being detailed in its prosecution. He was arraigned on January 15, 2025 on a 9-count amended charge and was admitted to a 500 million naira bail with 2 sureties in the like sum. President of Dangote Group Aliko Dangote has raised concerns over the growing volatility in the global oil market, warning that the ongoing conflict in the Middle East could worsen economic hardship across Africa if not urgently resolved. Speaking on the implications of the crisis, Dangote said that although Nigeria is not directly involved, the ripple effects of global oil price fluctuations would inevitably be felt. Dangote warns that a prolonged crisis could further destabilize economies, particularly in Africa, where fiscal buffers are limited and debt pressures remain high. He stresses that energy costs are central to nearly all sectors of the economy, meaning sustained increases would have widespread and cascading effects on livelihoods and production. Dangote also pointed to possible global adjustments as countries respond to the crisis, including reduced work schedules and remote working arrangements to cut energy consumption.
It means quite a lot. We don't have much to do with it, but you know the world is a global village, and it definitely will affect us, unfortunately, you know, but we pray this situation will be sorted out. It's not going to escalate. If it doesn't de-escalate, we'll end up paying, you know, big prices. Like what I said earlier on to CNN, if you look at it today, you know, Africa is very busy paying debt, and putting this again on top of us is going to you know, add a lot of hardship on people, on the governments, on the people, on everybody, you know, for something that we have no really any involvement in it. If you look at it now, you know, when you talk about energy, energy affects almost everything, you know, and it's not only energy. Some people will try and take a chance and say, this is an opportunity, so let me make money, you know. So if this thing doesn't de-escalate, it is going to keep going up and up and up, and governments cannot really now go and add salaries also. So people will really, really feel the hinge. People who are now doing, you know, barbers, people who are doing bread, people who have industries, who have to pay their own generator. You know, I mean, you can see in some countries today what they've done, they ask everybody to work from home because they cannot, you know. Yes, you know, I think Indonesia also, they say no, only go to work 4 days a week, you know, and they will look at the situation. If it doesn't improve, they will ask everybody not to go to work anymore. We will do like that time of COVID, where people will now go and work from home. So I pray, and we all need to pray that this thing de-escalates. If it doesn't de-escalate, you know, normally we in Africa, we don't have any reserves in terms of savings or in terms of this. And so people normally go out and look for money for the next day or for the even same day, some of them. If they don't work that day, they won't eat. So I think really we just need all hands on deck to pray that this thing comes.
And on to politics. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nwaoboshi Nwabuoku, has urged the members looking to vie for elective positions at the federal and state levels in the 2027 general elections to be confident that and not afraid of contesting. The minister added that not having governors from the People's Democratic Party should not deter members from participating in the process. The former Rivers State governor also assured members of the party that no one will stop or set aside the planned convention slated for March 29 and 30, 2026. He stated that all criteria had been met and expressed confidence that before the end of next week, many members who had previously left the party would return. The FCT minister further stated that he was satisfied with the turnout of members and said this showed that people who had the interest of the party at heart were now realizing that his side of the PDP was the authentic one. On the reconciliation process, Wike urged the leadership of the party to continue and ensure that those willing to return were brought back, while others unwilling to be let go.
Unfortunately, I was watching my friend before. When he went to Nwaoboshi, he said that he had a little weekend president so fortunate. He said we have government to have the judiciary, It's unfortunate. We also have the issue of the battle. That's my in fact, you cannot find it. Politics is not a part of share. There are two different things. I don't want to live in power. I wanted to have power. You wanted money. You have control over $1 million. This is my own time. Still, I have a contract. Contract and politics are not still you can see the difference now. Being a contractor and share does not make you to be a politician. There are two different you know one day, now it is a national democratic of all parties. Of all parties. We are the ones that gave you everything. Today you get the governor. Today you are known. You say because of money we stop everybody. I'm saying no. The right thing must be done. I'm sure most of you were enslaved because of money. You know, it's a government. It's a friend of government. No, it's a friend. Now everyone has seen that. The business of politics is not a business of them, but that will share among totally different thing. Make those who know the politics to play. You are the one who want to share. And $1 billion, $2 billion, give us that. Let us continue with our job.
Yeah, in Osun State, lawmaker representing Iwo State constituency at the Osun State House of Assembly, Rabiu Atanda, has retracted his resignation from the Accord Party, reaffirming his support for Governor Ademola Adeleke. Earlier, a resignation letter purportedly from Atanda, but without a date or signature, circulated on social media, prompting widespread reactions. Atanda was elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2023 general elections, alongside 24 other lawmakers, including the Speaker, Adewale Egbejon. He had recently defected to the Accord Party, pledging support for Adeleke's re-election in the August 15 governorship poll. However, hours after his resignation letter, Atanda appeared in a video alongside the governor's spokesperson, Olawale Rashid, and the Speaker, Egbejon, announcing the withdrawal of his resignation and reiterating his support for Adeleke. However, Atanda's personal assistant, Adewale Adigun, hinted at internal issues that prompted the initial resignation, insisting that Atanda must secure the Accord Party ticket for the Iwo State constituency in the 2027 elections, or he will quit the party.
Now, orúkọ mi ni Alhaji Honorable Adesina Atanda Rabiu, èyí tí mò ń sojú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin ní ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ní Iwo State constituency. Mo jẹ́ alága fún House Committee on Home Affairs, Culture and Tourism. Pẹ̀lú àwọn kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ láìpẹ́ yìí, bóyá bíi wákàtí méjì sásìkò yìí, wípé mo kọ lẹ́tà pé mi ò ṣẹgbẹ́ àkọ́ọ̀dù mọ́. Mo wá ń sọ báyìí pé lẹ́tà tí mo kọ yẹn mo ti withdraw rẹ̀. Èyí tó sì hàn sí mi wípé mo wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ àkọ́ọ̀dù digbí, èyí tí mo sì wà lẹ́yìn gómìnà wa Adémọ́lá Adélékè, èyí tí abẹ́lọ́n tí ó sì rí bẹ́ẹ̀ pé ní ọjọ́ 15 oṣù kẹjọ ọdún tá a wà yìí wọn ó dìbò tí wọ́n wọlé. Mo wà lẹ́yìn wọn gbẹ̀ngbẹ̀ng ní ìṣẹ́ fún wọn tọkàntọkàn, gbogbo ohun tí ń bá ní lágbára àti lówó láti fi ṣe fún wọn lágbára Ọlọ́run náà ni màá lò. Ẹ ṣé.
Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has approved the appointment of Chiamaka Anake as the new Secretary of the state government. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Christian Aburime announced NACA's appointment in a statement issued on Monday. NACA most recently served as the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning and as a chairman of Solution Fund City Limited. As Commissioner, the 39-year-old led the effective mobilization, planning, and allocation of state resources to drive socio-economic development. She also held key leadership roles across several state boards and initiatives, including the Number State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, the Internal Revenue Service Board, and the Small Business Agency. In Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde has announced that all workers in the state will be entitled to a 10,000 naira top-up on their salary for a period of 3 months. Makinde disclosed this at a program held in the state's capital, Ibadan, on Monday. According to the governor, the top-up is necessary to cushion the effects of the fuel price hike, and it will begin in April, with a possible extension if the situation has not subsided.
They need transportation. So I'm happy to announce that all workers in Oyo State and the local government, starting from April, at least for the first 3 months, in the first instance, maybe it will be extended. They will be giving 10,000 naira additional as petrol transportation support. Everybody, all workers, is flat rate. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀dìbò tí wọ́n á gbowó ní ọ̀dọ̀ gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì Ọ̀yọ́ láti gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì Ọ̀yọ́ state. A máa yọ síra wọn náà ni. So as we approach the end of this administration, one of the things I'm particularly committed to is ensuring continuity.
In Kwara State, several people are found dead following a bomb explosion involving a commercial bus near Woro village in Kama local government area of the state. According to the military, the incident occurred in the early hours of Monday at about 7:43 a.m. when a commercial vehicle traveling from Urumakoto village in Kama local government area of New Busa in neighboring Niger State ran into an improvised explosive device. The driver, identified as Malam Zuneiru, was said to have unknowingly driven over the planted bomb, which detonated on impact. The explosion reportedly killed the driver instantly and left several passengers severely injured, while others were dead. The army reveals that victims who sustained serious injuries were evacuated to the General Hospital in New Busa for urgent medical attention. The military further reveals that joint security operatives have since been deployed to the scene. During clearance operations, another explosive device was discovered and successfully defused by specialists from the Nigerian Army base in Kama. Moving on, the National Emergency Management Agency on Monday received 708 stranded Nigerians from Niamey, the Niger Republic. The head of operations in NEMA Kano office, Noura Abdullahi, made this known while briefing journalists shortly after receiving the returnees at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano for profiling. The returnees comprised 292 male adults and children, 416 female adults and children from different parts of Nigeria, particularly Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Benue, Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kogi, and Niger states. Abdullahi said the returnees were brought back by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We will be right back.